What is up? Your Chicago Bears just got a double dose of disrespect, and what we're talking about is two great big pieces of bulletin board material that just came out. Hopefully this motivates this team, and for one, motivating the head coach, and also motivation material for our starting quarterback in Caleb Williams as well. Now, I get it. It's put up or shut up time. Good or great teams, they respond to nonsense like this with wins on the field. It's time to stop winning off seasons and time to start stacking wins. But this is just idiotic. I'm going to go through it. So we're looking at new Chicago Bears head coach Ben Johnson. Absolutely the biggest coaching hire of the 2025 NFL season, and perhaps over the last few years, absolutely biggest get for a head coach. But a recent ranking of brand new coaches this year in the NFL, it has him just in a silly spot because you're looking at Johnson not ranking as number one as far as new head coaches in the NFL or even number two. Instead, he ranks number 3 among the new batch of head coaches with a projected win record of 9-8. So the biggest snub is Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders. They are listed as second as far as best new head coach, regardless of situation, at 10-7, while Brian Schottenheimer and the Dallas Cowboys are first at 11-6. Now, I'm going to get into the details of this, but we're talking about a guy who is 100% the biggest coaching hire of the last several years, which is one of the main reasons why us as Chicago Bears fans are so excited about this upcoming season. But Chicago, they weren't the only ones to hire a head coach. So let's dig into this. We're talking about 7 teams made coaching changes. Man, there's so much turnover in the NFL. It's 100%, oh, what have you done for me lately type of league. That means 7 fan bases have the same optimism that the Bears have. Tons of change, but a head coach is such a crucial role on a team. So these ratings matter. This perception of who is the best get. Kind of looking at each new head coach entering their own unique situation with their own challenges. Some have unsettled quarterback situations. Some have old quarterbacks. Some don't have a quarterback at all. Some of these teams, the offense is going over a complete overhaul like the Chicago Bears with this new scheme change. But all of these head coaches are going to be measured by the same metric, and that's wins. And I think predominantly that is what this rating system, rating Ben Johnson coming into this new offseason, this new season, by how many wins he's going to have. So we're expecting Johnson to bring a new winning culture to our Chicago Bears. But let's face it, there's absolutely no reason that Chicago is not going to be at least 500. That would be worst case scenario. But at best, the Chicago Bears have everything that they need to contend for the NFC North crown. I'm saying that. The Bears have everything that they need to win this division. And that's why this predicted win total is kind of silly. So we're looking at Johnson not ranking number 1 or even number 2. Pete Carroll and the Las Vegas Raiders are slated to have 10 wins. And Schottenheimer and the Cowboys are slated to be 11-6 with Ben Johnson slating in behind them. I mean, I get it. The Cowboys are America's team. But there's no way that they're winning 11 games in the NFC East, especially not with Schottenheimer. He's never been a head coach before either. I would say that he was the least inspiring hire of this coaching cycle. And then you're looking at the Raiders. A huge amount of praise for an offseason that hasn't been even close to as good as Chicago. You're looking at Geno Smith at quarterback. That doesn't really move the needle. You've got Ashton Jeanty. He's going to be an absolute stud on this team. He is a great first-round pick. If you're playing fantasy football, especially in dynasty mode, Jeanty is going to be your first pick. He'll be mine. I'm sitting here with the number 1 pick in one of my leagues, so I'm excited for fantasy football. But I think it's kind of a stretch to think that Vegas is going to win 10 games. They're sitting in a division with the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, and the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's kind of far-fetched, especially if you look at the condition of their team, the condition of their lines. Their personnel pales in comparison to the Chicago Bears. I think Johnson and the Bears should have ranked first, especially if you're ranking new head coaches in the league. Ben Johnson is looking to be the next offensive genius in the NFL. I know we haven't seen it play out on the field, but I am so optimistic about the future of this team, especially this upcoming year. And I think if there's any roster that can push for 10 or 11 wins in a ridiculously hard division, I think it's the Bears, not the Raiders or Cowboys. And Johnson is the most innovative, the best offensive mind out of any of them. And I don't think there's a universe that exists that a team led by Pete Carroll or Schottenheimer should be ranked higher than the Chicago Bears as head coaches. I think it's ridiculous. So we're looking at Johnson not proving himself as a head coach just yet. That's one thing that Pete Carroll has. He has had an excellent career as a head coach, just not very good personnel. But whatever the reason, we should not be sleeping on Ben Johnson. He's exactly the kind of petty, hardworking guy that is going to take this rating and put it up on the wall as bulletin board material for him to see every day. Or he's so confident in himself that he just doesn't care. Maybe it's bulletin board material for us when we're having discussions with other teams in our division. So let's kind of get to the next disrespect. And that's over our quarterback, Caleb Williams. We're looking at this guy is primed for a breakout season under first-year head coach Ben Johnson, one of the brightest offensive minds in the NFL. I'm just going to say that again. But not everybody agrees. And we're looking at him not having a great situation last year, right? A 10-game losing streak, 2 different head coaches, 3 offensive coordinators, 68 sacks, only 5 wins. But Wilson showed his playmaking skill in so many areas. He just looked really good in a really difficult situation. And Williams is ranked among quarterbacks coming into the season as 21st. Now, how do you put that into perspective? Fox Sports' Henry McKenna, he's the guy that did this. He's 21st out of 32 NFL starting quarterbacks. Plenty of debate. We could debate it all day, but I think the biggest indication of why this is ridiculous is because if we look at Caleb Williams' placement among the other guys that he was drafted with, that's the most ridiculous because he was the 5th ranked from Mr. McKenna from last year's draft class, and that includes him being behind Jaden McDaniels, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and Drake May. Now, I totally get Jaden Daniels. He deserves to be the number 1 quarterback out of this draft class so far. But to hear from McKenna, Williams remains one of the best young quarterback prospects in the NFL. Now, he has one of the best situations in the NFL. Let's see some results. Totally get that. But this still seems really ridiculous because Williams got some tread taken off the tires last year. Williams actually played ball. He didn't have the same results like Daniels or Nix, but he definitely had more success than May. May didn't even have that much playing experience. And then you're talking about him being ranked behind McCarthy. Missed the whole season due to injury. He didn't even play. And I just think this is just an unnecessary show of disrespect. What's really going on here? I think it's the national media thinks something, and it's probably not that bad of a thought. They're looking at the Bears needing to prove it this season before giving them any credit whatsoever, be it the head coach, be it the line, be it the top 100 player ratings in the NFL that just came out. I could have done a triple dose with that. And I think it also goes into their ranking of Caleb Johnson. I think it's outside of reality. I think it's more perception. And the national media might not be far off. They're like, hey, prove it to us, change our mind, make us wrong. And the Bears started out pretty good last year, right? They were 4-2 before their bye in 2024, looking like a playoff team until the Fail Mary. That's when it was obvious the coach needed to be fired. And and then it kind of tanked out from that. So I think a lot of these other things, if he would have had a competent coaching staff around him last season, I think things might have been cleaned up more as far as how he played. But it's also likely that Caleb would have been on PFF's list way, way higher. But Johnson's arrival, this should correct so many ills. I just think it's 2 signs of disrespect for this team. I think the national media really isn't seeing what I'm seeing, what you're seeing. We fixed both lines. This whole team, the top end starters are solid. The depth is way, way better. Playmakers across the board in every spot of the team. I think the Chicago Bears are going to be surprising a lot of people. And I can't wait to stop winning off seasons and actually see the results on the team, on the field. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see. Two big pieces of bulletin board material. I hope it spurs the Chicago Bears forward to perform on the team because we've been patient enough as fans. It's time. I think we all deserve it. So having a little bit of fun with this, kind of a different video than usual during this dead period before training camp starts. Bear down, you guys. Thanks for always being here. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. We're driving towards 10,000 subscribers. I promise I'll always make it fun. Bear down, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.